Okay, so today we're gonna do something super unconventional, especially for my YouTube channel. I'm not gonna edit anything, I'm just gonna do my thing, share with you my experience, and whatever makes it, including this guy right here, because I wanna talk to you about him. And he's turning 17 next week, believe it or not. This old dude right here. Yes, love. Yes, you're so sweet. And of course, we'll come over here and say hi to Minnie, because Minnie is propped up on her princess pillow, like the princess that she is. Alex is doing some work in the background. We won't disturb him. And so today I want to talk to you about what I've done that has really changed the trajectory, try saying that 3 times in a row, of my doggie's life. Now, mind you, I've had 2 other pugs besides him. So I raised his mom and his dad. Raised his mom until she was about 15, and she suffered with cancer, unfortunately, the last 2.5 years of her life, which, if you think about it, is a pretty long time to live with cancer. And his dad suffered with kidney and liver disease, which a vet, I lived in Colorado for a couple years, and the vet said, like, there's no way this guy, we don't even know how this guy's alive right now. This is probably when he was about 14 or 13, 14. And we begged them to give him 1 more round of antibiotics because he was not eating, and we knew that was going to be a deal breaker. They agreed because they probably thought, they already were planning on us saying goodbye. So they caved in. We gave him another round of antibiotics, and believe it or not, he made it. He made it, and he lived literally another 2.5 to 3 years. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, I can't say that we had a lot to do with that. We were just, loving our animals and doing the best that we could. But there are a couple things that I think really increased in the longevity of their lives and improved the quality of their lives, and I want to share that with you today. And this little guy that I showed you here anew is turning 17, like I said, next week. And 6 months ago, literally, they said he was going to die. They said he was going to die without saying he was going to die. And after that, they basically just said, okay, he's on borrowed time. Okay, I get I can read between the lines, okay? But when I still see life in this guy, this is the way that I view things. You know your animal better than anyone else, just like you know your own body better than anyone else. And dude, you need to go out. Sometimes he needs a little guidance because he can't really see or hear. So we're just gonna walk out and keep talking. So come here, baby, come on. Look how amazing this dude is. He can barely see, can barely hear, and he still manages to do this. And he can make his way there and feels the step and jumps off. Now that is inspiring. So I digress. You know your animals better than anyone else. That's my point. And it's not that they don't have your best interest in mind. In fact, I think that they absolutely do have your best interest in mind, but I think vets, especially if you get a really good one, they've been around the block for a really, really long time. At least that's the hope, and I've had really good ones in the past, I know. But the problem is that no one's going to ever know them the way that you know them. So while they had good intentions, while they thought, oh gosh, we better tell her to hospitalize this animal or he's going to die, I knew that if I hospitalized him 6 months ago when he got really ill, that would actually be the end of him, because this dude has had, literally I might have to go rescue him. This dude has had attachment anxiety issues. Do you know what I mean? We have a yorkie, and so if you have a yorkie, you definitely know about attachment issues. But I'm just gonna stand here and see what he does and see if he needs some help coming in. But I knew that would hurt him more, or I felt it would intuitively and in my heart, that would hurt him more than if he had been with the best possible doctors for 3 days straight. Do you feel me? So I opted, me and my partner, Alex, we decided that we would ask them to give us all of the meds when they were apprehensive that I would be able to. Come here, buddy. Come on, buddy. And like I said, I had 2 other pugs before, so I knew what I was in for, and I knew no one would love him more. So he came home with me. I was miraculously able to administer all the drugs, and within a few days of that, he started feeling a little bit better. Something that also radically changed was another video that I'm going to post for you soon. Once I post this video, who knows, maybe I'll have already posted it for you, is how to make the homemade food. Because making that homemade food, I just started doing it right away. I was like, okay, he has liver and kidney issues. He has everything out of his system anyways, so it's not that it's going to conflict, or his tummy's probably not going to hurt, because sometimes there's that interpretation that, oh, if you switch dog foods, their stomach's going to hurt. And most certainly that could be the case for your animal, but for mine, we never had those problems. They've just had a very flexible sort of eating style. Come on, baby. They free fed for years. They did not overeat. And then once they started to get older, they were all on different diets, and we were constantly trying to, gotta do the pug rescue thing again. Come on, baby. Come inside. Come on. And they were all on different diets at different times, just, because that's part of bio-individuality, right? You might have a dog that's better on raw dog food, or maybe for whatever reason, homemade dog food like me, or a certain type of other prescription dog food. Minnie's had to be on prescription dog food for a couple years. We knew that canned dog food wasn't good for her, but she had chronic UTIs. So that was just something that we did because we didn't want her to be in chronic pain, and we just didn't know what else to do. But after making the food for both him and her, because I'm like, well, if I'm making it for him, I'm just going to make it for her also. Moral to the story, both of them are doing better than they ever had, considering what's going on. She hasn't had a UTI, and she's been off her prescription dog food now for 1 to 2 years. And I think that I always say, I'm going to tell you, you're going to understand my age right now. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. So those nutrients, I just think that you can't, this isn't a judgment on kibble. This is just my experience. You can't replace those nutrients. It's like, us eating the processed food that we know we shouldn't eat, but then also incorporating fresh fruits and vegetables. So, whether you're doing a combination of both or doing one or the other, you just have to figure out what's best for your animal. And for Anu also, it would be really hard for me to pick a dog food that was perfect for his condition, because there were some that, was great for kidney or liver or whatever, one of the things, but he had this combination of things, and he needed low phosphorus, low protein, low carbs meaning the bad carbs, not like processed-y white bread carbs, stuff like that, right? But veggie carbs, fine. But there was so much education involved. I had, his stomach was sensitive, so if I gave him too much fruit and it had too much acid in it, and I didn't couple it with something else, he might get sick to his stomach. If I gave him something that had oil in it, even if it was a safe oil and it was on sort of an empty stomach, meaning he didn't have a substantial amount of food in his stomach, that would make him sick. So it was really a learning experience for me. And this is him right now. He's always got to be by my side. I told you, attachment issues. But now that he is blind, he was deaf first, he went deaf first, and then his eyesight started to rapidly decline, whether it's the swelling of the brain or medications, whatever it is. He's really dependent on my touch and smell. Smell is a huge thing. So another thing that happened that was really weird was that at some point he just literally stopped drinking water. And I remember this happening months ago, maybe, I don't know, a long time ago. And I called the vet, and she said, is he eating okay? Is his energy okay? Does he seem lethargic? Like all the basic questions. And I answered all the right answers, and she's like, okay, well, if he's fine, if he seems fine, then I'm not worried. And I'm like, okay. So that's kind of the way we rolled for a really long time. And he started drinking a little bit more in that interim period between that time that we talked and the past few months. But then at some point he literally just stopped drinking again, and weeks turned into a month, and I called another vet, since that veterinarian had retired, and said, hey, look, the vet I had before said, look, if he seems okay, he's probably okay, but is this normal? Is this okay for him? And because he was still urinating fine, he said his kidneys, that was a sign that his kidneys were working, and if maybe he was getting enough from his food, his diet, which is definitely the case. And then it dawned on us a little thing that we could do to ensure that he was getting enough hydration, which is mixing a little natural oat milk in with the water, which he absolutely loves. And of course, taking a little bit of honey and mixing it into that as well, that he absolutely loves. And local, honey is great for their immune system anyways. It's great for his throat issues. And then what I noticed is even if I didn't have the oats milk, I could use a little warm water with honey, and he can't even really see anymore, so he's smelling it. It smells and tastes sweet, and he drinks it up just as well. So now we've solved that problem. So between the diet and between getting him drinking more liquids again and finding this balance of medication that's okay for his specific condition, we're doing okay. We're doing the best we can. We're taking it day to day. The one unfortunate thing that has started happening in the last few months is that he's begun to have seizures, which is super unfortunate. But the fortunate part is that we have started using a drug that's safe for his liver and kidneys, and it has made it to be where he doesn't have the seizures very frequently. So on average now we're experiencing them about every few weeks, which is extremely scary. His dad, Pug, towards the end of his life stage, he had a seizure for the first time, and I had never experienced a seizure before in person, and I thought he was dying, and I did all the wrong things. I picked him up, I'm crying, all the things you're not supposed to do if a dog's having a seizure, but I truly had no idea. That was a huge learning experience for me. Now I'm very aware what to do. I set the timer because we need to make sure, make sure he's okay. If he's fallen, put something underneath his head or my hand there, comforting him, doing all the things. Again, timing it, making sure it doesn't go past a certain time because then it can create brain damage. And then maybe this doesn't happen with all animals, but after he has a seizure, for about the next hour, he walks around like one of those things that you wind up and then you release, like a little toy, he walks around like he's on speed. But the problem is because he's, you're kind of blind at certain stages of the seizure, and you can have temporary blindness when you come out of it, and his vision is already compromised. The problem is that he is bumping into things more than normal. You kind of feel a little boop. You hear this every once in a while, even though all the mirrors are padded and we've, put pillows in front of things that he normally runs into. There's just too many walls in the house, and so it does happen. After the seizure, we both have to be actively monitoring him for a good period of time. We usually have to go out in the backyard so there's more open space and let him walk around and do his thing, get his bearings, get his whatever small vision he has back. And also, as soon as he can, I'm giving him some either additional anti-seizure meds or some calming medications with CBD to calm him down, because it can be a very anxiety-ridden experience for the animal and for you. And so comforting the animal, I've learned, is just one of the biggest things that you can do, being there for your little loved one whenever he or she is going through these things. And I think that's all that we can do. It's the best that we can do. Right, Alex?
Yes, ma'am.
And I hope some of this information was helpful. I'm going to list below a few of the supplements that I have used and this is not an ad, it's not sponsored, that have truly helped my pugs live the best quality of life, and like I said, the longest possible. One of those being milk thistle. It was originally prescribed from the vet, and then I found it online. I've been buying online for years for his dad, and now for him, since he has liver issues too. You can get a combination of milk thistle through your vet, but I find it hard to give this guy anything on an empty stomach because he always has to have treats and stuff. So if I have to give him medicine on an empty stomach, that's kind of like a little pause moment for me. Milk thistle, I put it in his food. He literally eats it, it doesn't seem to, he doesn't seem to be like repulsed by the smell, or it doesn't affect the quality of his eating experience. Let's put it that way. So milk thistle has been a game changer for me. All of the supplements that I use that I think have been extremely helpful are things like xoxo. That's a staple. A really good wild fish oil, that's another staple, and that's also great for the skin. And what are some other things? Oh, the CBD is a regular thing that we take just to, there are some studies that say it can be helpful with seizures as well as melatonin. So I have calming treats with both of those agents, as well as L-theanine, because that can also help relax the body. And he seems to be really restless with his condition a lot of the time. What else? I'm trying to make sure I'm not leaving anything else out. If I've left anything else out, I'm definitely going to put it in the show notes. Yes, I just mentioned that. Oh, and the things that he loves to eat as a snack. It's a little unconventional, but if you're looking for some healthy alternative snacks for your animal, he loves a little oatmeal with some wild blueberries. That's one of his favorite things. He eats it every day. Super high in antioxidants, and it helps it not be so acidic with that fruit on his stomach. Carrots, cooked carrots. They love it. Minnie loves some raw celery, which is great for her health and her breath as well. And Yorkies are known to have bad breath, and bad teeth. She has to have them cleaned every year. But his mouth is just, there's a whole ecosystem. We joke, it's funny, not funny for sure. If I had known that the collapsed trachea was going to be a thing, perhaps I would have had his teeth professionally cleaned before that, but once that happened, it became too risky to get his teeth professionally cleaned. So now we do the plaque off, and you sprinkle that over the food every day. The vet actually recommended that for us. So all of these things were things that I've done lots and lots of research on for not only the internal stuff, right, but also the external stuff. If he had a hot spot at one time, it was really really sad to see that little bare spot on him, and those can also be irritated. His ears, since he's lost a lot of hair since he's gone through all of his stuff, his ears, where he used to have dermatitis, they're just really dry on the ends. His poor little nose, from running into things, and also just it's been cracked for years. We're constantly trying to mend it with certain oils and then an antibiotic ointment from the doctor, wiping his eyes every day, wiping down his coat with other types of wipes, since he doesn't really love the bath time anymore. So I have so many tips that I'm going to drop them below, but also I will continue to do videos on these types of things. If you find them helpful, just make sure and let me know, because I'm here to serve you. So I want to make sure that I'm making videos that you actually are benefiting from, that you find interesting, and that we both can learn from. So like and subscribe to my channel if you want more over 40 beauty tips and occasional doggy tips as well. And make sure to set that notification bell. And remember, the more you know, the more you glow. Ciao for now.